You have is it forward and back, which is forward and backwards? Order?
Eh bien, c'est parti. Putain, ça. Bonsoir à tous. Le reste de la session va être en anglais. So I'm just gonna go on in English. I'm French, obviously, but I'm gonna speak English because we've got one speaker here, the only one who's English. So.
Brexit.
So yes, we are gentlemen.
Thank you.
But you're gonna speak first because messieurs les Anglais tirez les premiers. So hello and welcome to you all. This session will focus on the very important subject about the oceans and trying to see how FabLabs can address the greatest challenges lying under the question of oceans. And this goes from the fields of observation of the oceans up to the recycling of marine litter. So I'm Thomas Binet, and I'm the head and founder of Vertigolab, which is a think and do tank on environmental economics. And I'm based in Bordeaux. And Vertigolab basically is working on developing business model for ecological transition. So that's what we are doing basically. And we are mostly dedicated to the ocean sciences and economics. So we have a great team tonight to talk about this question of oceans and FabLabs. I'm gonna introduce them all. In the order of appearance, if I recall it well. So we've got Chris Wilkinson. So I may introduce you after my short introduction, basically, maybe. Okay. So the question of the challenges of the oceans, basically, are multiple. We've got a question about marine litter, a question about resources, overfishing, the pollution, the marine pollution that comes from land and goes to the sea. There are challenges about the communication, the biotech, energy, etc., etc. So when it comes to FabLabs, there's been a lot of initiative and projects associated to FabLabs, and we can see that the tide is rising. And basically, there are some good projects going on. Some have failed, but because the ocean is tough, as you know, and even for FabLabs, when it comes to the oceans, there is a lot of question about monies and how to develop and stay and maintain an economics, maintain a project. So, for instance, there is this project called Precious Plastic, very interesting, collecting marine litter and trying to build machines, open source machines to prepare this plastic and build up things out of this. Another project which is on the question of fishing, it's escape light rings that you put in the fishing nets for the small fish to escape from the nets. Another one is called fishy filaments, and they're basically collecting marine litter, plastic litter, and build up 3D filament out of this marine litter. Another more institutional project, which is happening right now, close to us in the Basque Country, is called Ocean Living Lab. and it's basically a place dedicated to ideation and prototyping of about the ocean challenges. So the two questions for tonight is, could FabLabs resolve ocean environmental challenges, and what can makers inspire about the blue economy? That's two questions lying on about this question of oceans, and basically the speakers tonight will help to focus on all these challenges, basically, because there are many, multiple, and but first of all, Chris Wilkinson. Chris Wilkinson works from space to underwater to the bottom of the seas. He's got a multiple hat, so it's very difficult to introduce him, but maybe we'll go back to this experience later. We've got also Emmanuel Poisson-Quinton, who's working for the Explore, Roland Jourdain, famous French sailor, Roland Jourdain, Explore, which is a foundation for new explorator. We've got Thibaut Huguen from Phil and Fab. Phil and Fab, that's a group of designers based in Brest, in Brittany, working on project to recycle plastic from the fishing nets and develop things out of this. We've got Simon Bernard. Maybe you can raise your hand. Well, we'll see you later anyway. So Simon Bernard from Plastic Odyssey expedition, and we'll learn about this expedition starting soon. And last speaker will be Philippe Barre. Philippe Barre is the founder of Darwin Ecosystem, which is a third place based in Bordeaux and dedicated to make the ecological transition happen. He's also the organizer of the Ocean Climax, which is a music festival dedicated to oceans, and that gathered last year, I think, something like 40,000 people with conference speakers about the oceans, experts, and music groups. So why don't we start with you, Chris? Okay. Maybe no, you can stay seated if you want. Do you want to come here, or you can stay? Yeah. Okay. So there's some microphone. No, you don't like it.
This one.
You prefer this one. Yeah. Okay.
I think it's easier.
Yeah?
I don't like karaoke.
You don't like karaoke.
Especially in English. Maybe in French. But.
So I don't have any place anymore. So tell us about your views about these ocean challenges then.
So I put. I think this is a very useful quote, and as you see from my introduction, I spent 34 years looking up, and the last 7 looking down. And I wish I had started looking down earlier than I spent the time looking up. So that for me summarizes part of the challenge. 2/3 of this planet is ocean. 5% of it is explored. So 95% we don't really know. The cost to survey the ocean is estimated at $3 billion US. May take 15, 20 years. We know more about the surface of Mars than we do about our ocean seabeds. Big challenge. So whether this is good data or not, the summary from various economic reports is there's a very big ocean economy that has huge potential. The risk about just thinking about it in hard-nosed economic measures is balancing it with the environmental challenges. But equally, the two should be balanced. So that's the big challenge. And that was a recent newspaper report. So yes, my colleagues and friends will talk about microplastics and all the other things, but there's a really, really serious problem that we need to deal with. So I'm going, based on what you saw about my background, I'm very fortunate. I'm connected through my various roles to many different networks. But what I hope to share with you today are some emerging opportunities to connect networks and the ecosystems associated with those that could face this challenge, and where I am personally in trying to make that happen. So, the three nodes I'm going to cover are an industrial one. So I work for a company called SMD, and I will explain it on the next slide, what we do. I have entered a team for a X Prize. If you're not familiar with that, I will try and explain that later, but it's under an ecosystem called Visioneering. And it's a global competition to change the way we solve problems on this planet. And then I will talk about the network for FabLabs. So, this is what I am Chief Technology Officer for. This is what my company does. So, it's a bit like the machine company we just saw, but different types of machines. The top view are the first deep-sea mining machines in the world. So those machines, you can see the size of a man, are up to 320 metric tons. The cutter head power is 1 megawatt. And these have been built for a company that has a prospecting license to go and mine for sulfide minerals out of volcanic smokers, where the Earth's raw material comes through the oceans at volcanic vents off the coast of Papua New Guinea, where the mineral richness is 9 times richer than if you mine on land. And then the other machines there are to replace divers. They go down to 6 kilometers underwater. Or many of the world's internet cables that go between continents have been buried by machines that plow the seabed and then cover the cables so ships' anchors do not damage them. So that's one node in the network. This is the X Prize node. So there is a competition through the X Prize call for ocean discovery that Shell is sponsoring. And this competition is designed to create a new solution for surveying the oceans. Today's solutions are very slow and very expensive. And I'll give you an example of surveying for, unfortunately, not a good reason. When the Malaysian Airlines MH370 disappeared many years ago, they're still looking for it. It's cost $250 million in 2 years. If you calculate the amount of ocean they've surveyed and you work out the cost per kilometer, it's about $1,800 per kilometer to find the aircraft and to find what happened, and obviously find the closure that the families need. Still have not found it. So this is trying to drive new solutions. And I have formed a team called Team Tau. You can go on the X Prize website and you can see the team. And actually there's an advisor on the team that happens to be in this room. And the FabLab movement through Artilect, through work that Nicholas and his friends and colleagues here, which we are paying them. We are paying them to do technical work, are helping us solve this problem. And our concept, if it works, will not be $1,800 per kilometer square, it will be $9. $9, that's the challenge. But we will not do it with big machines. We will do it with small drones, working in swarms, with no men involved. That's the goal. But we have 9 months to develop the solution. And that's for a $5 million prize. Then, the final node, which is another emerging ecosystem, is the FabLab. This is Shenzhen last year. I think for those who listened to me talk yesterday, this is the opportunity when we get to next year. I don't know what the logo is yet, Nicolas, for this. It's coming. But this is a big opportunity to network. It's not just about what people are doing outside. So in Shenzhen, we had entrepreneurs, we had industrial companies like Airbus and Renault and myself, railway companies. We had the White House, we had a NASA scientists. The people that, and a guy setting up a drone operation in Rwanda. So all these people can bring knowledge and value to the network. And that's what the real power of the network is. So for me, solving problems needs to be a lot less like what's on the left and what's more on the right. And so unfortunately, we're not trying to solve a problem, so I feel like I'm preaching to you through these microphones, standing up there. But the real opportunity, which is what the FabLab mindset brings, is solving problems in the way that it's depicted here. So, one example of the FabLab network came from the Japanese government sponsoring some overseas aid in the Philippines. The Japanese government would normally do things like build a school, build a road. But in this experiment, they paid for 2 Peace Corps workers to travel to the Philippines to set up a FabLab. And in less than 1 year, working with the local universities, they developed a machine in the lab that would take all the plastics you can see being left on the fields and on the beaches and convert those plastics back into material that could be used. And one solution they use, which is this one on the right, all these tubes. These are plastic tubes that came from plastic bags that have been turned into a septic tank filter. So all the human sewage goes back to the sea. It's actually clean before it goes back into the ocean. So it's one step where the ocean is given some material that we left there wrongly. It's been recycled and it's been applied. And it's created jobs for people as well. So, to summarize, there is, in my mind, 3 ecosystems starting to develop. The first one is this industrial one, which I call I. So, Monsieur Lubier and myself, we work in industry. We have R&D departments, protospace. We have ways of doing things. The lower level, which I call O, which is the open source experimental one. Very diverse, all sorts of people. You don't need to worry whether they have technical qualifications or not. They are human beings who have many ideas that could solve a problem. And we're building this acceleration space, another ecosystem between the two, which I think is quite interesting from what I've just seen on one of the presenter slides for Bordeaux. There's a space there. And this is what my vision is of what I think may emerge. So on the left, you have the opportunity to create businesses for the consumer, shallow water. So it could be materials that are being recycled. It could be fab labs on beaches that are developing solutions for fishing, for pollution control, for leisure. You know, there is a camera on Kickstarter called iSplash. It's a GoPro, but it's a robot that follows you as you swim. But I'm sure there'll be many other ideas. And then we will have the acceleration piece, which XPRIZE, and I'm hoping some super fab labs will emerge to do that work. And ultimately, guys like me sit on the right, where we work deep water, 6-7 kilometers deep. And we are looking for solutions. But instead of us developing those solutions just by ourselves, we can draw and compensate the people who develop the solutions in the earlier open source and acceleration mode. So that's my last slide. I think I'm on time. Okay, Thomas, not in trouble? Merci. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for these very inspiring ideas, and I think we'll go back to that, and that's why we need to go around the table, and then we'll open the floor for questions later. So Emmanuel, Poisson-Quinton, you're working for the Explore No, you can stay seated. He was not disciplined enough to stay on his seat, but please. Now, is the microphone working? So you're coordinating Explore projects and manage a specific one, you told me, which is called Ocean is Open, which focus on ocean observation. So can you let us know about what you're doing as part of this project and as part of your job within Explore Foundation?
Yes, thanks. So my name is Emmanuel Poisson-Quinton, so I translate for Chris. It's like Fish-Quinton, so it's easy. That may be why they call me to get in this table round, but no, we do stuff on the ocean, so don't worry. So yeah, head of project of Explore. We support and develop non-profit projects that address environmental challenges. We are in Concarneau in Brittany, very far away from here, and we help them. We find them sometimes money, most of the time help, network, all this stuff, and those projects work on very different fields, low technologies, biomaterials, underwater exploration. So we are a bit of crazy guys, around 30 people, just having a good time in Concarneau. So if you want to come and have a look, you're welcome. And one of this project is called Ocean is Open. So I work on it since 2 years, I think. And the point is how could we get the collaborative and digital innovation to the ocean? And not on a top-down way, but really looking at what exists on the field, on the seashore, and see where we could have some innovation with those guys. And so the problem is, how do we look at the ocean? So I made this television because there is various way of looking at the ocean. If you think of your last camping trip, or I don't know, last time you spent 7 days in the nature is okay. But I think we are not a lot of people in this room who can think about the last 7 days they passed in the ocean, on the ocean, or under the ocean, but it's maybe only for the military people. So we are going to address 2 compartments, I would say. The upper one is from the air, looking from the air on the sea or on the seashore. And the other one, how can we get action under the water? And so we are not marine species. We can't stay a long time underwater, so we have to find solutions. And one of the solutions is to ask people who go a lot of time sailing or fishing in the sea. So that's the inspiration with all this project. So the first one we are developing is called the Wilbur, thanks to Wilbur Wright, the American guys. The first guy the first guys who really take off from the ground. And the idea is to develop a low-cost drone, because the technology already exists. You can buy it, no problem. Switzerland are very good at these technologies. But the point is how we can get the price down drastically, so we can equip more people on the field, and they can use it for local problematics. So we work on how the seashore evolve with the rising seas, and we are developing this one with a partner is Education of Brittany. I don't know the name for Rectorat de Bretagne. Sorry, Chris. Because the idea is to get kids in this and to convince the other institution, like the people who put the laws for the drones, the people who use the maps, to say, hey, we are not badass, we are just here for having fun, and we get the kid with us because we want to use the kids as a mean to say the older people, come on, we have to deal with this technology when you will retire or you will die, so let us get our share of these innovations in the future. So this first one is it started last 6 months ago. So the other one is about citizen science. I don't know if you know about this. Quickly, it's how to get citizens speaking and acting with scientists to solve local problems. So we work on the ecosystems in Brittany, and the best way to see if the ecosystem is in a good or bad shape is to follow the planktons. It's a community of very small organisms that marks the quality of the water, and so it's a very, very strong indicators to the good state of the water. And the point here is the same, because scientists have not a lot of money, they don't have a lot of boats to go doing the sampling. So the idea is to ask sailors, are you okay? 4 times a year, go with the scientist and make some sampling one day, and we'll bring you the kit, and okay, let's do it together. Let's make the sampling with the nets. And here the innovation is, we don't see it very well, but it's the nets we developed. Classic kits cost around 2,000 euros, sorry. And this one we made, we prototyped last year and we replicate this year, cost around 100 euros. So it's a very, I think it's a very good opportunity for us to show the scientists it works, because we work with the scientists. They tell, okay, this one is crap, this one is good, carry on. And now we have 6 nets like this, so we can do 6 sampling zones at the same time, and scientists can't do that. They can't really do that on their own. So that's another way to go underwater and have another tool to have a look at the sea. And the last one is, this is a beach, so it's why it's yellow. And the last one is about plastic litters. Some other guy here will speak more about it, but in the same way, there is a lot of beachcomber association, people who love the plastics. They spend time on the beach to clean, to raise the awareness about these problems. But we have one in Concarneau called Ansel, and they wanted to be connected with other associations around France. So together we developed this map. With your smartphone, when you are on the beach, you can signal the litters you can see. It's only a few species, a few items of litter. We don't want every litter. We just follow between 10 and 15, depending the zone we are. And then we collect them, put them on the map, get all the data with other people, and you can see how it is widely spread around the Europe. We have now some example in Finland, to the Azores, and we are just in the beta version, so it's a good sign for us for the next moment. So this is quickly 3 examples we're currently developing in Concarneau. And the last slide, the conclusion is, when there is a big problem, do we need a big solution? People think like that. You might heard of Boyan Slat, who tried to get rid of plastic in the ocean. He think big problem needs a big solution, that's the way. But I'm more betting on the other way. It's a big problem, we need a lot of little solution. It's not only acting local, but solutions that can be replicated. And I think that's why the FabLab are maybe the best supporting community for the future to help all these solutions widespread around France, Europe, and the world. And thank you.
Okay, thank you. So we understand that citizens play a very important role in all your projects within this Ocean is Open. How do so you said FabLabs may be a good opportunity as well. How do you have example of project developed with FabLabs already, or are you?
Yes, all those. Yeah? The Ocean Plastic Tracker was made with Ocean Hackathon in Brest. Okay. Very nice ecosystem, so we developed these things thanks to them, because we are we're not geeks, so that's a perfect way in hackathon to push something. And I think we're the only project that are already existing. There is no business model at all, but there are a lot of passion behind this tool, so it works well. The nets for the plankton, it's perfect for FabLabs. We have to sewing machine, souder, je sais pas comment on dit, melting, all this stuff, and so FabLab is perfect for this kind of project. And the other one also, you have electronics. The wings are it's a cardboard laser cutted, and you can also make some wings in 3D printing. So that's a good development. And we turned this the other way because in our city we didn't have a FabLab. So we first start in our base in Explore because we had a big area to work. But so we build after that a FabLab. So now we have a new FabLab that is growing, where we can push this project to other people, to the kids, to the retiree people, all those people, and then connect to other FabLab. And I think that will the work for the next years is to make the documentation and test the prototype and go into the other FabLabs and explain how it works.
Okay, thank you. Thanks a lot. Thibaut Huygen, so you're a designer and you're part of this group called Fab, who's working, you're based in Brest, also a Brittany person, and so you're working on this project Fab. Can you tell us a little more about this one?
Yes, can I?
Yeah, can you pass on the Zappet?
So
Zappet?
this one is Explode.
No, yes, this one is Explosion. No, the one with arrow. The green arrow is better.
So I'm a designer and vice president from Fab, which is an association for now, but soon we're gonna be how to say that. Ça commence bien.
I'll go on in French if you prefer. Tu peux continuer en français peut-être. Hein?
An enterprise. We're going to be an enterprise, a company. We aim to take fishing net, who are a big problem in different ports, because they are not so easily. We can not take them and recycling easily them. Because with standard shredder, they can block the machines, and they are in many plastic different that you have to test, and most of the time the fishing nets are not recycled. They are thrown in the water sometime, and most of the time they are buried or burn, so it's not a good solution for the earth and for the water. We want to take them, offer a solution from different ports to put some way to get them and take them from making new products. In first time we want to make some complicated product which was espadrille, but the process of fabrication was too complicated. So we're gonna make simple sheets and cut with a laser to make some forms. And that's a principal problematic. That's the principal issues that a project can have. It's the budget, the money in some way, and that's where the FabLab are a very good solution, because they can be an easy way to create prototype and test a solution to be sure that this is okay. You can go, you can make this work, and you can develop a project that can be good for the planet and good for the people who imagine it, but take time. And I think FabLab are a solution to don't waste too much time, but you have to be patient too.
So we understand that fishing nets, that's a big issue in terms of environmental aspects as well. We heard, like, I know this word called ghost fishing. When you leave, you lose the fishing net out sea. The fishing net goes on fishing and catch the fish, whereas it's not collected anymore. So that's ghost fishing. I think that's one problem at sea, and that's one another problem while on the fishing harbor. So So I think it's quite interesting to see how you want to solve this issue about this very specific sectoral issue based on one principal problem, which is fishing net, and working with fishers. And I think that's a good example because we've learned about these citizen projects, and we're here in face of professionals. So you're working with professionals, and so how do you approach those professionals? How do you work with them?
In first time, we just we have how to say that. We were to the port. We are searching from a fishing net to make experimentation and where to get a fishing net with fishermen. So we go saw a fisherman. The first was not quite friendly, but the second give to us a very big fishing net, and that the first connection we had with the professional with the professional of the fishing, and after that we agreed all the team that we have to create a link between our activities and fishermen, because the problem is not that they want to throw fishing net, because most of the time they don't throw them accidentally. They block and they have to cut and put it in the waters. But in different ports, the selective recuperation of different waste are not quite in place. Sometimes there are just one place to put all the waste, and that make it very difficult to recycling, and make very difficult to fishermen to saw what action they can have in a good manner for the earth, so that do not encourage them to make an effort. And that's the way that we want to work. It's to make them see what they do are good, and encourage them to do better and to do more. And by making that, we can reduce even a little bit the waste of the fishing net. And that's not a problem just for fishermen, that's a problem to people that take the waste in the seaside, because sometimes they have some part of a fishing net, and they are more difficult to recycle. So they throw them or they burn them. I don't know if this is something that this is something that on nous a dit. Voilà.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay. Thank you. Thanks for this very interesting, inspiring project looking to work with professionals. So we got this example with citizen, and I think it's quite important to. That's one lesson learned, working with in a collaborative way with professional or at sea or with citizen, definitely. So let's see, Simon Bernard, what's your project about? So Simon Bernard, you're leading, you're part of the manager of the Plastic Odyssey expedition. So could you also tell us more about this project you're doing? And because I think it's a big sailing trip around the world, something like that. So can you tell us more?
Exactly. I'm gonna explain you a bit about this expedition. But first, I wanted to come back on plastic pollution, ocean plastic pollution. And just for the quick story, I was in Netherlands yesterday to the event organized by Boyenslat that Emmanuel was talking about. So that's the project Ocean Cleanup. And so I saw the team, I saw the project, it's very cool. But I completely share Manu's point of view on this project because they are, what they want to do, they want to clean the ocean, the Pacific garbage patch, which is plastic floating on the sea surface in the Pacific Ocean, which is good. But actually, this pollution represents only 1% of the global pollution. So even if you clean the entire sea surface, you will only solve 1% of the problem. So it's very far away from solving the plastic pollution. Just to give you figures, they are planning to clean in 5 years the equivalent of what's entering every week in the ocean in terms of plastic pollution. So it's just a tiny drop in solving this pollution. But still it's good because it raises awareness on this big issue, so still it's good. But what we believe in is that if we want to solve this problem, you need to act at the roots of the problem. So this means on the coast before the plastic enters the ocean. And how to do that? I mean, that's easy to realize that, but how? Well, the first step is to reduce plastic consumption, of course, and reinvent new materials to get rid completely of the plastic. But this is going to take decades, right? So we need to find a solution to manage the remaining waste in the meantime, before we say goodbye to plastic. And that represents about 300 millions of tons every year. That's the quantity of waste, plastic waste produced. So there's a big issue, you know, in managing this waste. So how to do that? Well, a good way to do that is to reveal the value of trash, to make the trash so valuable that it won't enter the ocean anymore, because it will be collected before by somebody, because it costs something, you know. And luckily enough, there are many initiatives in the world to reuse, recycle, or eventually recover plastic trash. And these three actions has the power to make trash valuable again and avoid them from entering the ocean. So let me give you some examples, interesting examples. The first one I like is this P3 project in Africa. What you see here is that's plastic bags called pure water, and you can see these type of bags in countries where water is undrinkable, water is unsafe, and at the same time bottles are too expensive. This kind of water bottles are too expensive. So the water is sold in small plastic bags. They're not reusable, of course, that you just have to tear with your teeth to drink water. And afterwards, what you do, just throw it away on the floor, and it ends up everywhere, causing major pollution, mosquitoes, disease. So obviously that's a big issue. And this project had the idea to reuse the plastic and to turn it into different objects, such as umbrellas, bags, as you can see. So that's what I will call reusing, because there's a very little transformation here. The next step, if you cannot reuse the trash, you can recycle it. That's also a good example of recycling. It's a project launched by Lorna Ruto, which is an entrepreneur, a young entrepreneur in Kenya. What she noticed is that in her hometown, the road signposts in aluminium were stolen to be resold afterwards. So they will sell the aluminium. And at the same time, there are plastic everywhere. So what she did, she used all the trash and she recycled them into posts, to roadside posts, so that they are not stolen anymore, which is brilliant, you know. And you couldn't even have this idea here. You have to be in the city and realize there is a problem like that. And you can see that small solutions, very well adapted to a specific country, can have a big impact afterwards on the problem. The last one, when you cannot reuse or recycle plastic, which is unfortunately most of the time, plastic are just landfills, and you cannot recycle them anymore. But you can still, instead of burying or burning them, you can still recover the energy from it. You can convert this trash into oil, into fuel. 1 kilo of plastic can produce about 1 liter of fuel, which is quite impressive. And the good thing about this fuel is that it produces 20% less tail-type emission than the fossil fuel sold at the pump. So you can imagine that this is particularly well adapted in countries where there are huge landfills, plastic everywhere, but there is a deficit in energy. So imagine if there was a way like that spread everywhere to convert this waste back into oil, solving, you know, 2 major issues in these countries. So that's a very good example. And all these initiatives that I show you, that's just a glimpse of what exists in the world. And obviously, nobody knows them because it's very local, and they need to be spread, they need to be known by everybody if we want them to be used everywhere. So the idea we had with Plastic Odyssey is to build a boat that will be like a small floating FabLab somehow, a workshop, a recycling workshop that will experiment all this technology, all this system, like very small scale, to reveal the value of plastic. So at each stop, we will collect plastic with communities, with children, and show what we can do with that. So transform them, whether reusing, recycling, and eventually recovering. So we will have a plastic to fuel unit on board, and all the plastic collected that won't be recyclable will be stored at the back of the ship and will serve to power the ship to the next stop. So that will be the perfect example that, you know, the floating example that plastic trash shouldn't be thrown away anymore, because it can power the ship, basically, you know. So that's the main idea of the expedition. And obviously this ship will be also eco-friendly, built in wood, fitted with exhaust gas filter, microalgae to capture CO2, solar panels, and many solutions to reduce fuel consumption. So if you are interested more in this expedition, I will give a talk tomorrow at 2 o'clock, I think.
So that's great. So what do you need now before leaving?
Well,
money?
Yeah, like everybody. Like everybody, we still need money, because that's quite a big project. So we need to work on the plastic to fuel unit, on all the solutions that will be on board to recycling, and obviously to build the boat. So that costs a bit, yeah. So that's the first part.
So when do you plan to leave?
Hopefully in 2 to 3 years, if everything goes okay.
Okay, great. Good luck. Good luck to you.
Thank you.
So now, Philippe Barre, you are the founder of Darwin Ecosystem, which I told you already. It's third place, based in Bordeaux, and dedicated to that make the ecological transition happen. And in this place, there is also a big music festival every year that is called Ocean Climax. And so, Philippe Barre, you're very much involved in that festival and the life and make life happening within this Darwin third place. So you've heard about great initiatives and projects. So you're not a FabLab person, expert person in precisely, but what do you think about these all initiatives?
Well, as we've just understood, ocean is big issues, and first of all, I think it deserves a better expression than my English to talk. So, if you allowed me, I would like to speak in French. Would you be okay?
Is someone has a problem with that except Chris? Chris doesn't vote.
So Chris, excuse my French.
Okay.
Thank
yes,
you.
Go ahead. Thank you.
Donc je vais le faire en français, merci.
Parfait.
Moi, ce que je voudrais dire par rapport à ce que j'ai entendu, parce qu'en effet, je ne suis pas un expert ni des océans, même si je suis un amoureux des océans, et je ne suis pas non plus un expert des FabLab, un utilisateur, ni même quelqu'un qui fréquente les FabLab dans son quotidien. Mais nous avons décidé à Darwin, où on a je pense, des philosophies équivalentes aux gens qui travaillent dans les FabLab. On a pas mal de makers chez nous, et on pense qu'il est important de faire plus avec moins, et on pense que de faire avec peu d'argent, finalement, les choses permettent par moment d'avoir des ruptures et des innovations qu'on ne voit pas émerger dans des systèmes de grandes entreprises où le confort de recherche peut des fois ne pas amener à trouver des solutions innovantes, notamment en matière d'utilisation des ressources. On s'aperçoit que dans les Fab Labs et dans les communautés de makers, eh bien, on arrive par l'ingéniosité, parce que justement il y a souvent un manque de moyens, par l'ingéniosité on arrive à trouver des solutions d'avenir, parce que notre avenir sera fait de frugalité, sera fait de ressources issues plus du déchet que de ressources naturelles rares qui vont coûter de plus en plus cher. Et donc l'esprit des Fab Labs quand même intègre ça de manière inhérente, il me semble. Et quand on parle des océans associés à ça, on se rend compte, et c'est pour ça qu'on a voulu faire un festival autour de la question et de la cause des océans. On se rend compte que l'océan est le territoire très certainement le moins connu par les hommes, le moins expérimenté, avec une richesse phénoménale inexploitée. Il y a deux façons de l'exploiter. Soit l'exploiter comme on a eu l'habitude de faire maintenant depuis plus d'un siècle, en dévastant les écosystèmes, soit l'exploiter par le prisme de l'économie de la connaissance, c'est-à-dire avec un regard sur le fonctionnement des océans qui nous permettent de créer de l'innovation, notamment par exemple via le biomimétisme, en y intégrant la question de l'impact de la reproduction, parce que c'est pas parce qu'on va explorer la question du biomimétisme qu'on ne va pas dévaster derrière. Donc il faut faire attention quand on explore cette voie-là. Mais on voit bien que l'océan, en tout cas, est un réservoir de solutions phénoménal. Et du coup, nous, on a voulu mettre l'accent sur toutes ces solutions, sur toutes ces questions-là, parce qu'on pense que c'est trop méconnu du grand public. Et donc on a décidé de faire un festival autour de ces questions, véritablement pour toucher le grand public. Donc pour nous, la musique, les arts, les sports, notamment tous les sports de glisse, qui touchent les gens qui peuvent être amoureux comme moi de l'océan, de la mer, parce que on est surfeur, kitesurfer, etc. Les voileux aussi. Donc c'était l'idée de regrouper tous les gens qui s'intéressent à la mer, aux questions qui tournent autour de la mer et de ses enjeux, et de les regrouper de manière dans un contexte festif, artistique, pour toucher de manière sensible le grand public sur cette question-là, mais tout en ayant des conférences, des tables rondes, parfois très pointues. On a eu la chance d'avoir des intervenants qui sont dans l'exploration, quand tu es venu l'année dernière avec Surfrider. Et puis on a eu des gens qui ont une grande expérience de l'océan, qui sont venus nous parler avec des parrains comme Hulot, comme Edgar Morin, comme Hubert Reeves, qui vont donner un éclairage plus philosophique à toutes ces questions, parce que je pense qu'on ne peut pas que rester sur la dimension technique. Il faut aussi en comprendre les enjeux philosophiques, parce que notre destinée est véritablement dépendante de l'avenir des océans. Donc c'est pour ça qu'on a voulu faire ce festival qui regroupe maintenant, à la deuxième édition, on était à 40 000, enfin 37 000 festivaliers qui sont venus. Et on voit bien que les gens viennent d'abord, bien évidemment, pour les arts, pour la musique, pour des têtes d'affiche, pour des sportifs très connus. Et puis, ils viennent dans les conférences, ils s'intéressent, ils découvrent. Et c'est un moyen pour nous de faire pression aussi sur les autorités. Pour vous donner un ordre d'idée, à la première édition, c'était avant la COP21, la question des océans n'était pas dans l'agenda des négociations de la COP21. Les océans n'étaient pas à la table des négociations de la COP21 pour les enjeux climatiques. Comment pouvons-nous parler d'enjeux climatiques si nous ne parlons pas d'océan ? L'océan est un régulateur phénoménal de notre planète. Et donc, ça a été véritablement ça qui nous a poussé à faire ce festival la première année. Et grâce à la pression médiatique que nous avons su enclencher avec ce festival, nous avons réussi à obtenir qu'il y ait une journée de négociation sur les océans à la COP21 avec notre petit festival à Bordeaux. C'est juste pour vous dire que grâce à des experts qui sont venus mettre le prisme et l'éclairage, et grâce aux artistes qui ont donné de la voix et de l'écho à tous ces enjeux, on arrive à faire des petits pas pour que la cause des océans soit plus défendue. Et pour faire le lien avec les FabLab, avec l'esprit maker, je suis totalement d'accord avec Emmanuel quand il dit que les petites solutions sont très certainement le meilleur moyen de répondre aux grands problèmes. Et on arrivera très certainement beaucoup plus facilement à décupler les petites solutions et à faire en sorte que ces petites solutions qui peuvent se mettre en place plus facilement pourront être prises en compte par plus de monde. C'est la question de la petite goutte d'eau du colibri de Pierre Rabhi. Donc les FabLab ont un très grand rôle à jouer là-dedans, parce que c'est justement la taille idéale et la dynamique idéale pour accroître ces petites solutions dont nous avons tant besoin.
Merci beaucoup. Well, I think I need to switch back to English, sorry. I turn to the organizer. Well, do we have 10 minutes for a question? And yes? Okay. So, si vous avez des questions en français, vous pouvez les poser en français. And if it's a question to Chris, then I'm asking you to ask your question in English, please. So, do we have any question in the room? Question or comments, basically. Huh? Yes? Take a microphone, please.
Yes, bonjour à tous. Merci pour votre communication. Pardon? Plus près? Ok, pas de souci. Merci pour vos témoignages, c'est super. Et pour rebondir à ce que dit Monsieur Philippe Barre, j'aimerais vous inviter demain matin à 10h30. Je présente une proposition qui se base sur les FabLabs, qui est une petite goutte d'eau qui peut être multipliée par 1000 FabLabs dans le monde. Et pour faire la différence, c'est un projet qui s'appelle Toulouse Cleanup qui est né au FabLab Artilec de Toulouse. Et j'aimerais vous inviter à la conférence demain matin à 10h30. Voilà. Merci beaucoup pour votre...
Avec grand plaisir.
Yes, merci.
Message est passé. Une autre question ou un commentaire?
Oui, bonjour. Alors, merci beaucoup pour votre intervention, c'était vraiment inspirant. J'ai plusieurs questions en fait.
Vous pouvez vous présenter si on ne
Vincent,
connaît pas. Voilà.
ouais, voilà, Vincent.
Parfait.
Pour le projet Plastic Odyssey, c'est quoi votre budget? Combien il vous faut d'argent?
C'est vrai que c'est un peu compliqué. Je pense qu'il va nous falloir environ entre 4 et 5 millions d'euros dans la totalité, sur la totalité du projet. Ce qui est c'est un peu moins qu'un Vendée Globe. Un bateau pour un Vendée Globe, c'est entre 6 et 10 millions. Donc ça reste encore assez raisonnable, ouais.
Okay.
Mais c'est quand même une somme importante. Ouais. C'est un projet qui va être qu'on veut assez important. Ouais.
Et vous en êtes à combien de votre objectif? Combien de pourcents vous avez atteint aujourd'hui?
Alors, pour l'instant, on a beaucoup de partenaires, mais pas encore de partenaires financiers. On commence vraiment. On est encore au tout début du projet. Ça fait quelques mois qu'on travaille vraiment à plein temps dessus. Donc, on a quand même toute une communauté de passionnés qui nous aident, d'étudiants à l'école des ponts, en design, d'architectes. Donc, il y en a quand même pas mal de gens, mais pas encore. On n'a pas encore démarché en fait des sponsors.
Ok. Et vous envisagez un crowdfunding ou pas?
Ouais, je pense que ça va venir, mais encore une fois, c'est encore un tout petit peu trop tôt. Donc pour l'instant, on n'a pas encore démarché, on n'a pas encore lancé la campagne de démarcher des partenaires. Et donc je pense que le crowdfunding, ça va venir peut-être cette année, fin de l'année 2017, quand il y aura un peu plus de visuel, de concret. Et donc c'est pas encore pour tout de suite. Ouais.
Ok. Et ma dernière question, donc on a parlé d'un tas de problèmes qui sont liés à l'océan, les filets, le ramassage des plastiques qui sont à échelle macro ou visible. Mais le plus gros problème de l'océan, il me semble, c'est les microparticules qui sont impossibles à ramasser, qui font une espèce de soupe que les poissons mangent, que nous mangeons et qui nous détruisent. Comment on adresse cet énorme problème? Et est-ce qu'il y a réellement une petite solution qui pourra résoudre ce problème? Ou est-ce que justement tous les nœuds du FabLab à travers tout le monde peuvent s'organiser comme un espèce de cerveau géant pour apporter une grosse solution à un gros problème?
Ouais, les microparticules, c'est vraiment un problème qu'on n'arrive même pas à estimer en fait l'ampleur du problème, parce qu'on ne sait pas où sont les microparticules dans l'océan. Déjà, ça c'est un truc qu'on ne sait pas où il se situe. Il y en a sûrement une partie au fond de l'eau, il y a une partie des plastiques qui coulent, ça dépend de la densité du type de plastique. Et ensuite, ça varie, mais donc déjà, on ne sait pas où c'est, donc pour le ramasser, pour agir, c'est compliqué. Et deuxièmement, il n'y a pas que des plastiques dans l'eau, il y a du plancton, il y a de la faune, de la flore, donc le problème c'est d'aller séparer tout ça, mais il y aura peut-être une solution. Peut-être que ça viendra des FabLab, je sais pas, mais le problème c'est ça, c'est qu'aujourd'hui on ne sait pas résoudre ce problème du plastique parce que justement il flotte pas, il y en a très peu qui flottent, il est soit au fond, soit il est sous forme de microparticules. Et donc tout l'enjeu c'est ça, si on veut qu'il n'y ait plus de plastique dans l'océan, faut vraiment arrêter d'en jeter parce que sinon on n'arrivera jamais à le nettoyer. Alors peut-être qu'il y aura une solution géniale, j'espère, hein, mais pour l'instant on ne sait pas trop. Ouais.
Compte tenu de l'absence de connaissances sur le sujet, est-ce qu'il ne faudrait pas focaliser la réflexion là-dessus de manière collective?
Oui, je pense qu'il n'y a pas assez d'études sur les microplastiques. Le problème, c'est qu'aujourd'hui, ça coûte encore assez cher de faire ces études-là parce qu'il faut traîner des filets pour échantillonner. Et derrière, il il faut analyser ces données. Et comme c'est des micro-particules, il faut trier, c'est un travail de fourmi. Il faut aller séparer toutes ces particules-là. Et c'est pour ça aussi qu'il y a très peu de données, c'est que c'est un travail colossal. Alors nous, ce qu'on aimerait bien développer, c'est une manière de mesurer et d'identifier le type de plastique présent en direct, donc dans un flux d'eau qui passerait sous le bateau par des images hyperspectrales, donc avec des caméras qui voient dans l'infrarouge, d'arriver à essayer d'identifier toutes ces particules-là en filmant, entre guillemets, le flux d'eau qui passe sous le bateau. Et ça serait quand même peut-être une des techniques et qui d'ailleurs commence à être développée dans certains FabLabs et qui pourrait résoudre un peu ce problème-là d'échantillonnage et de collecte de données sur ce problème de microplastique. Donc ça doit être une piste à creuser, ouais.
Pour rebondir sur ça rapidement, je pense que pour que les gens commencent à réfléchir au problème, il faudrait qu'ils soient au courant. Et c'est la grosse problématique des microparticules, je pense que c'est que très peu de gens sont au courant que justement, d'après toutes les études qui sont menées, il n'y a pas un seul plan d'eau sur Terre qui soit épargné, quoi. Et donc, les gens ne sont pas au courant de ça, et s'ils ne connaissent pas le problème, ils ne vont pas commencer à chercher une solution. Et après, nous, des projets qui récupèrent et transforment le plastique à une plus grosse échelle, ça peut permettre de ne pas reproduire le problème ou le réduire plus tard, mais c'est clair que pour l'instant, il n'y a aucune solution à ce problème-là. Et le meilleur moyen d'en trouver, c'est de communiquer à propos de ça pour que les gens qui puissent avoir une bonne idée aient l'idée de l'avoir tout simplement, quoi.
Okay. Merci. On avait une autre. Ah oui, ok. Le micro arrive.
Yves Dutin, je suis professeur de l'Arsène. Je fais de la recherche en vie artificielle, développe des systèmes, des créatures artificielles, et en particulier, il y a quelques projets dans un domaine qui s'appelle la biologie synthétique. Et bon, j'écoute l'intérêt, la remarque a été très, très juste. D'abord, il faudrait éviter que ça parte, quoi. Mais à l'état où c'est actuellement, c'est pas des bateaux, c'est pas des systèmes comme ça qui vont être capables de le faire. Moi, je vois, enfin, pour les conférences auxquelles j'assiste, moi, je vois qu'une possibilité, ce serait, en tout cas plausible, à l'échelle de microparticules, c'est des bactéries modifiées génétiquement, c'est-à-dire en biologie synthétique, l'objectif, c'est de reprogrammer le vivant. Le vivant se reprogramme en permanence, les virus, etc. Il y a des techniques en oncologie qui travaillent au-dessus. Bien sûr, les OGM, ça a une très mauvaise image de marque par les entreprises d'aujourd'hui. Par contre, le vivant, il mute en permanence. Le pétrole, ça a été fabriqué par les bactéries. L'accumulation, ce sont des décomposeurs. Donc, il y a les proies, les prédateurs, les décomposeurs. Et pour pouvoir récupérer des centaines de milliers ou millions de tonnes de microparticules, je ne vois pas comment on va pouvoir faire, quels que soient les bateaux et les projets que j'entends. Bien sûr, il faut les faire, ces projets. Et donc, il y a une des disciplines, donc c'est une des branches de recherche qui est importante dans un certain nombre de laboratoires au monde, et en particulier les plus prestigieux, en Europe, en France et aux États-Unis. C'est ce domaine de la biologie synthétique, c'est une capacité de programmer, de modifier certaines génétiques, certaines branches, parties génétiques de bactéries, comme font d'ailleurs les FabLab, etc., mais là avec des moyens. Parce que ces bactéries, si elles peuvent dégrader, ce sont des décomposeurs, si elles peuvent dégrader le plastique en produisant, alors il faudra voir ce que ça produit comme gaz. A priori, c'est des systèmes qui peuvent se réguler, c'est-à-dire que si jamais il y a de quoi manger, entre guillemets, elles se développent, elles se multiplient, elles le font, et puis quand il n'y a plus à manger, elles disparaissent parce qu'elles sont détruites. Voilà. Moi, il me semble que c'est une des solutions. Alors bien sûr, j'ai entendu, programmer des systèmes vivants, ça fait peur, mais de l'autre côté, face à l'échelle des problèmes que l'homme va devoir résoudre sur cette planète, ça me paraît quand même une des phases de la programmation des années à venir.
Je voudrais réagir là-dessus parce que, bien évidemment, on peut chercher les solutions, en effet, pour pallier à ce problème dont on parle. En revanche, on s'aperçoit quand on regarde, par exemple, le cas du Maroc. Le Maroc, au moment de la COP22, a décidé d'interdire les sacs plastiques. Le Maroc, c'était un pays où j'ai eu pas mal l'habitude d'aller. C'était jonché de sacs plastiques partout. Et le moindre petit oued ramenait les sacs plastiques dans l'océan. En très peu de temps, parce que la COP22, c'était l'année dernière, en très peu de temps, j'étais au Maroc il y a 15 jours, on voit déjà le paysage changer avec cette interdiction. Donc on voit aussi que par des décisions courageuses, on arrive à enrayer de manière beaucoup plus rapide qu'on ne pourrait l'imaginer la progression de la pollution. Ce sera toujours plus difficile de la gérer que de ne pas la produire. Donc dans la réflexion qu'on doit avoir, c'est bien évidemment d'agir à la source et de trouver des alternatives organiques, des alternatives de retraitement à la source pour en faire une richesse, plutôt que de produire un futur déchet. Parce que même si on dit sur beaucoup d'emballages, on voit recyclable. Mais recyclable, si c'est recyclé. Le problème, c'est que la plupart du temps, ça n'est jamais recyclé. Même dans des zones comme chez nous, où on a le tri sélectif et où on est censé recycler, on s'aperçoit que des collectivités vendent leurs matières premières soi-disant triées pour être recyclées, pour partir être brûlées, parce que ça coûte moins cher. Donc on voit bien qu'il faut changer véritablement l'origine aussi des produits en plastique pour partir sur des alternatives. Et ça aussi, je pense que les FabLabs peuvent être des lieux où émergent ces propositions, mais ensuite ça doit aussi par moment passer par le législatif qui met en place des solutions, enfin des obligations, et on voit que ça marche. On a vu que ça a marché sur les questions écologiques, par exemple, des pluies acides dans les années 90. On a réussi à résorber le problème des pluies acides. On a réussi à résorber, pas à solver totalement, mais la question des aérosols qui élargissaient la couche d'ozone. Grâce à des mesures législatives, on a eu quand même certains succès. Sur le plastique, on voit qu'on n'est pas encore suffisamment globalement courageux parce que c'est une industrie tellement puissante, mais on voit que quand certains pays s'y mettent, en quelques mois, les résultats sont stupéfiants. Donc je pense que ça passe aussi par là, et donc ça passe aussi par la pression qu'on peut collectivement exercer pour prendre ce genre de mesures.
Merci. Merci beaucoup. Merci aux Français d'avoir fait l'effort de parler anglais. Hein, enfin, presque. En partie. And thanks Chris for your participation. Je vous laisse la main maintenant. Et merci à tous d'avoir été là jusqu'au bout.
Pareil, merci Thomas, merci à tous. Je voulais effectivement vous remercier pour cette dernière conférence de la journée. Et donc on est un petit peu en retard sur le temps, mais si vous voulez poursuivre la discussion, on vous invite pour un dernier verre au Fab Café avant qu'on ferme, avec les intervenants s'ils sont encore là. Merci beaucoup et à demain pour la suite du programme.
Allez, ça boit tous dans des bouteilles en plastique. Hein. Bravo les gars, bravo. Allez,